We just got our first gameplay footage from Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Let's discuss it. How's it going, everyone? Blueknight here, and welcome back to another Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated video. And boy, do I have some news for you guys today. I got a lot to get into today, so let's get started. The first footage for Spongebob Rehydrated was released during Gamescom 2019. Said footage is from the pre-alpha build of the game, meaning this is not what the finished product will look like. First off, I'm absolutely amazed with this footage from the Jellyfish Fields level. I mean, literally the first thing I noticed when seeing this footage was all the bright, vibrant, colorful textures that bring the world of SpongeBob to life. From the immense amounts of grass, which remind me of the grass in Spyro Reignited, to the darker blue goo, or water, whichever one you want to call it, reflecting and glistening the sunlight, and literally bubbles everywhere. It's all fantastic. Now, I do have to point out some differences between the original game and Rehydrated. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an analysis. Okay, let's start with the HUD menu. You'll notice that the shiny object counter icon doesn't rotate like in the original. The numbers that indicate how many shinies you have is a bluish or purplish in color, as opposed to the yellow color in the original. The counter also shakes when shinies are collected, just like in the original. Speaking of shiny objects, they now have a light trail that follows them, and the sparkly effect from the original is still retained. Bonus combo shinies can be seen at certain points in the footage when accomplishing different combos. Also, the combo text color both remain unchanged from the original game. Shinies now make a new sound than the original, which sounded like dings. Now they make a sound similar to Mr. Krabs' cash register. Oh boy, I can see the Spyro gem sound all over again. Another HUD item we see is the collectibles in the form of Patrick's socks. Yes, Patrick's socks are collectible in this game. Not sure whose idea this was, but I'm not complaining. The socks no longer have a glow around them like in the original. Instead, they are trapped inside of bubbles this time around. When collected, they don't have this firework looking effect. Instead, the sock counter comes up, which the icon doesn't rotate either, as opposed to the original. Again, the text color has been changed from the original to match the shiny counter. The various trees in the level are now different colors, as opposed to all of them being a light red like in the original. Some also don't appear to be TP'd by the robots. Another example of recoloring in this level are these bouncing anemones. Before they were all red with spots. Now they've been changed to a pinkish color. Speaking of these anemones, this one right here is significantly lower than in the original, which needed 3 of the normal wooden tikis to get onto it. In Rehydrated, that's not necessary, instead being able to get onto it with normal jumps. Another thing I wanted to point out is that when coming across a tutorial sign, a shiny clam, the first checkpoint, or a character for the first time, etc., you don't automatically get stopped. Instead, needing to activate or interact with them by pressing the respective button. On PlayStation, that's the R1 button. The text boxes are the same, although now they're completely a solid white instead of slightly transparent. Some other changes are minor, like a king jellyfish sign behind Gary, the shiny clam not opening until after paying it shinies, and the cannon launching these puffer fish before reaching the area. While on the subject of this cannon, in the original, when it's destroyed, it's literally a bunch of splintery wood flying around all over the place. In Rehydrated, it just looks much better, especially when it literally falls apart, with bubbles going in different directions. Now, around this cannon there appear to be 2 extra ledges that you can jump onto to get extra shinies. Same for the area close to the starting area near the water. A couple other minor changes being this bounce pad being smaller and these barrels being much brighter than before, which I'm not complaining about. Like in the original, you can see the other levels and sections of Jellyfish Fields in the backgrounds, which almost gives the game this Jak and Daxter feel. The designs and animations on the robots look very nice and feel just like the original. Now when SpongeBob hits one of these robots or jellyfish, there's this cartoony star visual effect, which is a nice touch that kind of reminds me of the Sly Cooper series. Plus, the robots are rotating mid-air as opposed to keeping the same animation until they collide with something. The hammer bot now lights up the ground now, as opposed to a wave of bubbles in the original, and it also makes the original game sounds. The fodders also make the exact sounds from the original game.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
That's
yo. Don't.
Now, the cutscene after paying the shiny clam to build the bridge. The camera angle was different for the scene. Plus, the bridge moved as the pieces were landing. This scene, when pushing the button to activate these platforms, no longer plays, but the victory sound still plays. Again, these are minor, but this cutscene for the hammer bot I think could be reworked a little bit. I'm referring to the part with SpongeBob, as the animation just felt kind of off for him in that scene. It's good, it matches, but I think it needs some more tweaks. This will likely be fixed closer to release. Now let's talk a little bit about SpongeBob himself in the game. SpongeBob's animation and model looks great. Purple Lamp did a great job on him. Although I have some things I have slight issues with and some things I do like. When SpongeBob uses his bubble wand, that animation is perfect even with new colors added. But his bubble ground slam feels just as good as the original game. However, the quick animation he does in the original when activating it is now gone. Instead, the bubble wand just appears and nothing else. The bubble bash seems faster and less fluid than the original. Again, these are likely to get updated closer to release. SpongeBob's idle animations, like turning around or scared when robots are around, those are done nicely, and also sneaking. But SpongeBob's running, scared running, and jumping animations feel and look good sometimes, while at other times they look kind of off in some way. I'm not sure why though. SpongeBob now has a flash when he takes damage, and sometimes being static instead of one of his 2 damage animations from the original, which we do see those in this footage. SpongeBob's one of many losing animations is shown, but not quite like the original, mainly because his arms and legs are sticking straight up. Another one is seen and recreated perfectly. Every time SpongeBob smashes a tiki or robot or bubble slams the ground, the camera shakes. It's an interesting effect, but I don't think I could get used to the camera moving that much all the time. Now there's one thing that I can see that is a must to be fixed, and that is SpongeBob's double jump. In one instance, SpongeBob got some insane height right there, which isn't possible with a normal double jump. And another instance that the double jump, or even the standard jump, was way too high. In the original, a double jump and then activating SpongeBob's bubble wand was needed to reach this platform. The jellyfish now send a shockwave around them in all directions as opposed to a single directed shock. The loading screen looks very similar to the original game. The tartar sauce canister that you can see laying around is rounded and no longer a square cube. We got to see the intro to Jellyfish Fields. Everything was recreated perfectly, from Squidward running, screaming, and getting zapped. So well done, but now with so much more life added into the cutscene. Even the robot at the end makes the same sounds before taking off, just like in the original. In Rehydrated, you don't hear Squidward say an extended ow before SpongeBob asks if he's okay. Ow! But there seems to be 3 lines missing, 2 from SpongeBob and 1 for Squidward.
Well, your nose does look pretty big. I mean, bigger than usual because it's usually pretty big. And you look clammy. And oh my gosh, you're bald!
I've always been bald, but now I'm stung all over.
You do that! Don't worry, Squidward. I'll bring back that king jellyfish jelly for you to rub all over yourself.
Also, Gary's conversation was cut down to only the first 2 lines instead of showing the mission. Now, this could be added back in later, as there might not have been enough time to include them for the demo, but like I've been saying, this is all pre-alpha footage. Plus, the camera doesn't pan over to show Spork Mountain after Squidward tells SpongeBob that's where he's got to go to find King Jellyfish.
Well, I guess you're off to scale Sport Mountain and die a horrible death under the vicious tentacles of King Jellyfish. I'll stay here, balled up here in excruciating pain.
The Duplicatotron that we see was slightly changed in color, which was originally a bluish tone to kind of a tannish green. It now releases cans instead of metal balls with trails behind them, and now catches fire instead of just smoking. The music, although kind of hard to hear, is exactly spot on to the original game. When falling, SpongeBob no longer gets grabbed by hands. Instead, the screen goes dark, and you wind up back in the last safe area. This wall of wooden tikis now appears like that you are able to go around it. But really, why go around it when you can just smash through it anytime? The war box did not open when approached. Now, this could be because it was the second one that was activated first, but I'm pretty sure that both should open regardless of which one was opened first. Probably a minor bug though. The golden spatula counter is the same as the sock and shiny counter, static and bluish text. The spinning animation is there, but it's not shiny or have the glow the original had. And again, SpongeBob's animation for collecting one of these is kind of faster than the original and needs to be tweaked a little bit more. Also, the game doesn't appear to autosave after collecting. However, this being a timed demo, I can see why there's no autosave. Right before the King Jellyfish boss battle, we see Bubble Buddy, and he is small compared to the original. The King Jellyfish cutscene was perfectly recreated, but this sound doesn't match the animation. It's from the original, sure, but I think a zappy sound should have been used instead, seeing as King Jellyfish just got shocky. Unlike the original, there's a text now that says, "Slap him." I don't really think that was needed, since it was already apparently obvious in the original game, but alright. The boss itself is far more electrifying, and I like it a lot. Instead of a shield around King Jellyfish, the shield is the electricity on him, which all redirects to his stingers, leaving him vulnerable. The boss meter is also noticeably shorter. Well, that was quite a lengthy analysis, and if you guys watched the whole thing, I really appreciate that. I really do. With all that said, that is the end of the video, guys. As usual, what do you guys think about all this? And if I left anything out at all, please be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And once again, everyone, thanks so much for watching and supporting my channel. I've been Blueknight, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Goodbye.